And we invite and we invite and we invite guests that will discuss with you some very pertinent topics to your lifestyle as it is now. Today, we're joined by a staff of members of both the City of Boulder Older Adult Services and the Boulder County Area Agency on Aging for a presentation on services and programs that support older adults and their family caregivers to live at home as long as possible while receiving health care. Both agencies offer a wide variety of services and programs ranging from information and assistance to lifelong learning and social programs. Eden Bailey, will you be speaking first, Eden? Okay, Eden Bailey, our first speaker, is the Older Adult Services Manager for the City of Boulder. In her role, she supervises the work of case managers and program managers at the East and West Age Well Centers. Who do you think will be up next? Okay. All right. A tag team. We have a tag team of Emma Gooding Lloyd is a case manager for the City of Boulder, providing in-depth information and referral services to assist older adults in remaining in their community. We have Neil White. Neil Waite is a program supervisor for the Boulder County Area Agency on Aging. Neil oversees the overall operations of the Resource Call Center and the online resource directory at bouldercountyhelp.org. And lastly, we have Lisa Covenor, like governor. Lisa Covenor is a resource navigator for Boulder County Area on Aging and answers inquiries from customers contacting the agency's phone line and email. Lisa assists with updating resource information and publications. I'm sure these four individuals have a lot of information for us. This will be recorded, so we'll be able to get this out there for you, and that will be very helpful. Eden, would you like to start? We have Eden and Emma.
No, I'll just hand it over. Hi, thank you very much for having us here today. I think you probably all know that if every caregiver in America stopped caregiving, we would crash and burn as a country. Caregivers are they back up every system we have in this country to make sure that people can get the job done that they need to get done, and they're often very overlooked. Caregiving is a passion of mine. It's interesting that we have the word caregiving as a real word. That means something. This was probably now decades ago, but I was in charge of a caregiver newsletter, and I asked a colleague to translate it into Spanish. And she said, somewhat tongue-in-cheek, there's no word for caregiver in Spanish specifically. It's daughter, daughter-in-law, granddaughter. Some of that has changed over time for sure, but it's always been so informal. And it's only been in the last maybe 10 to 15 years that we've begun to really recognize the role of caregivers, both, male, female, and the role they play, and really work hard to create that kind of support. So I just want to thank you for the work that you all do. And so today, Emma and I are I'm going to talk a little bit, go through these slides, and then there will be time for some questions if you have them. I'm also going to show you the City of Boulder's website because you can get a lot of information off of there as well. And then Neil and Lisa will give you the bigger picture of the county-wide services since our services are City of Boulder. So older adult services is part of the Housing and Human Services. Hello. Okay, there we go. Is part of the City of Boulder's Housing and Human Services Department. We offer all adults 60 and over a safe and welcoming environment, and our programs and services are delivered in age-well centers that honor the needs and desires of older adults. We no longer use the term senior center because we also have a very strong stand against ageism, and the word senior historically has been associated with those people and older adults and that are maybe not as valued. All the data shows that that is a term that is not as embraced generationally. So we did a lot of work. Some people in the audience were members of my advisory committee who gave advice on this. And what we wanted to do was change to age well, because you can age from the time you're born till the time you die. We hope people age well to the degree that they can with the circumstances that they're living in. So we're committed to supporting an age-friendly community through our work on anti-ageism, Lifelong Boulder, which is an initiative that's supported by the City Council that is committed to Boulder being an age-inclusive community. The AARP has coined the phrase, so I use it freely. Boulder should be as friendly and inclusive for an 8-year-old as an 80-year-old. And so that's the work that we do on a daily basis. We want to mitigate social isolation and encourage community engagement. And older adult services staff provides a continuum of services from health and wellness and lifelong learning programs, case management, and supportive services. Our mission is to inspire and empower older adults to age well through community connection, learning, and play. We have 2 centers, one near here, the East Agewell Center, that's located within the East Boulder Community Center, and the West Agewell Center, 909 Arapahoe. Next slide. It's just not working. That's okay. Okay, so older adult services provides short-term case management through a continuum of services. And we do things like assessments for home health care. We have a relationship with Boulder County Area Agency on Aging for their program Choices at Home. We are the intake for that. So for people who are maybe over income for what's called home and community-based services, but not quite at the point where it's really easy to afford out-of-pocket expenses, there's this great program called Choices at Home. We are the intake for Boulder, so we can make assessments for people to get some in-home health care through that program. We do have limited but available financial assistance for qualifying individuals. Things that are unexpected. An example of that might be everything's going along fine. I have a fixed income, a limited income. I'm doing okay. But, well, there's 2 things we could talk about. One is suddenly there's a dental bill that was unexpected and they can't afford it. If they meet all our eligibility requirements, we can help with that as well. We get funds from donations, we get funds from the AAA, and that's how we use those dollars. We also have some funds available to help a caregiver. We have had caregivers who are caregiving for someone who's 60 plus, who lives in the community, and their parent can't afford something, and they've been helping to pay, and suddenly there's something they can't help. We can discuss with them the possibility of helping them with that financial situation. We can assist with benefit, I say we can assist with benefits applications. We do provide caregiver support in the sense that we do host support groups at our centers, and we can provide some limited financial assistance, but they can also talk about what resources are available in the community, things that people didn't know exist. I mean, you know what you know, but you don't always know what you don't know. And so asking what is out there is usually a really good question. We make referrals to community resources. And one of the best ways we do that is through a database that Lisa and Neil will be talking about later. And they do counseling on available options for housing, long-term care, transportation, healthcare, food assistance, and more. So when people aren't sure what they need, the case managers, there are three of them. There's Emma, there's Wade Brandstetter, and Ashley Fowler. They can talk about, well, here are your options. And if there's, well, I'm not sure what would be best, well, tell me what you need. And they can have a conversation to see if they can fine tune it. And hopefully there's more than one choice to be made in the available resources in our community. And I will be honest with you, Boulder is pretty resource rich. When you look at, if you're in my position and you go to statewide meetings and you hear about other communities with lack of resources, we are pretty resource rich here. And then we have programs to ensure aging in community. We're having one this week, a 55 plus job fair. We have programs around conversations about death and dying. We have programs about
all kinds of things, emergency preparedness, downsizing and moving, scams and fraud, how to avoid those.
And one of the things that, oh, yes. I will get to that. Thank you. Excellent question. We also have programs that are more on the social side, health and wellness programs. The person, Maureen Dobson, who does our health and wellness programs, they are really great, focusing on mental, physical, emotional health. Well-being also includes fitness and dance. There's a Parkinson's group that meets at the West Agewell Center. We also offer health and supportive programs such as therapeutic massage, foot care, hearing and vision screenings. We do have an agreement with Dental Aid that they have a space at the West Agewell Center to see clients. But that's kind of up to them to schedule it, but there is a space there for them. Our lifelong learning programs include a variety of classes that include technology, creative pursuits, social connection. We have a Spark class around art and ceramics. And we do have special interest groups. We have book clubs, photography clubs, biking. We also have, like Emma said, aging and community programs. Those are usually no charge, and that's a preventative type of program, so you can get ahead of what you need to know to successfully age in place. We also have volunteer-led special interest groups, support groups. Right now, we're not doing international travel, but we can do local and regional trips. And at the West Agewell Center, we have the Eat Well Cafe, which is run by Meals on Wheels. Next slide. I have an Agewell Advisory Committee that's 7 members, and they provide input on our strategic planning. They contribute to the development of programs and services, and they act as ambassadors so that they can take the information that they learn from about older adult services out into the community. Next slide. As I mentioned, we have the Lifelong Boulder Initiative, and then we also have some regional partnerships. We're part of the Regional Aging Network, which is Longmont, Louisville, Lafayette, I believe Superior, and the AAA. The directors and managers, we meet regularly to make sure that we are aware of what's happening countywide. We are part of the Justice Coalition for All, which is a grant funded program that's housed at the AAA, which is focused on educating law enforcement and first responders on the issues around abuse in later life. We attend the Mobility for All meetings. Case managers go to what's called Elder Care Network, which is sort of the direct service arm of the Regional Aging Network. And I am a member of the Adult Protection Review Team. We are also members of the National Council on Aging, and the American Aging Society. Next slide. That's our slides. So I'm open to answering some questions about this now before I pull up, or Neil, God bless him, pulls up the website for the city so I can answer your question about where do you find more information. Any questions at this point for Emma or myself? Okay, so on our website, if you go to, there we are, you can watch this great PSA we did. And that sort of gives you quickly everything I just talked about. But in this, okay, so navigating this might be a little interesting. Scroll back up and, okay, scroll back down. Okay, programs and services, there we are. So you can view the, as he will scroll down, you can see everything I said is basically on the website. The options counseling, the health and wellness, the lifelong learning, the special interest groups. But if you scroll all the way up back to the top, there should be, keep going. Okay, this doesn't look the way it looks when I pull it up. Okay, can you click on the home at the very top? Yeah. There, no. That goes to the main one. Okay, go back to us. I'm trying to find the program guide. So you can, okay, under programs and services, there we go. Click on that. So if you wanted to click on May 2024, yeah, I think that should work. That would take you to our program guide. And everything we talked about is in this program guide. We also have a newsletter that people can subscribe to, and that goes out every Monday morning. So current things are always in that. But as you scroll, as Neil scrolls through this, you can see the table of contents. You can see all the stuff that if you want to jump right to it, or you can start just scrolling through and you can see what kind of programs we have. If you wanted to contact somebody, it's there. This is, you know, these are the health and wellness programs. Next, keep going. Those are our massage therapists and body workers. If you were interested in getting that, you could see who they are. And as Neil continues to scroll, keep going there. Now you see resource programs. So there's a downsizing presentation next month, conversations about death, disaster preparedness, all the things that Emma was talking about. And then as he continues to scroll, you'll see that there's dance programs. Those kind of things are in there. And as you get towards the end of the program guide, you'll see how to contact the case managers. There's a phone number. You would call that phone number 303-441-4388. And one of the three case managers, if they can't answer immediately, they will call you back within 1 or 2 business days and have a conversation with you about what, you know, to answer your question or to work with you. So this has everything you'd ever need. We do it monthly. And so that's as current as we can basically get. Yes. Thank you. I think it's on the website. Yes. Yeah. Okay. There, yes. Under Stay Connected, Let's Age Well newsletter sign up. Thank you. It's really, I think it's really helpful every Monday, but if there's something special happening, we do a special announcement, and we will send that out whenever necessary so that people are very clear that this, this is new. So we do that as well. Any question? Oh, go ahead. Yeah, I'm sure Neil and Lisa will point that out. And the really generous thing about the AAA newsletter is that it always includes submissions from all of the senior and age well centers as well. So it is a little bit of one-stop shopping, which is really great. I used to work for the AAA. I really admire their work. We work very closely with them, and it's a nice partnership. Or the Anesthesiologist Association of America either. I know. Sorry, with government, we are acronym silly. The aging, is it okay if I do this? Because you'll probably do it again. Area Agency on Aging. There are 16 of them in the state of Colorado, and there's one just for Boulder County. And that's where Neil and Lisa are, and they'll be talking about that. Yeah, sorry about the acronym. Any other questions for me or Emma? Okay. I will turn it over. You two.
I'm sorry for the recording. We're not hearing from Fraser any longer.
How about now?
That's working great.
We turned off the microphone briefly. So hello, everyone. My name is Neil Waite. I am a program supervisor with the Boulder County Area Agency on Aging. I supervise our resource call center and our online resource directory. Thank you, Eden and Emma, for your collaboration on this presentation. And thank you, Gail, for reaching out to set this up for us. Lisa, would you?
Oh, sure. And I'm Lisa Covener. I'm the resource navigator, which simply means I answer the phones and answer the emails when all of you reach out.
Okay, well, Eden gave us a nice review of what an Area Agency on Aging is, or AAA. So I thought I'd describe a little further about what it is other than just a mouthful of words. It is established by the Older Americans Act of 1965. As Eden mentioned, there are many other area agencies on aging. We often refer to them as a AAA. So there's many of those in the nation, and in Colorado, Boulder County is one of 16 in the state. Per the Older Americans Act, an area agency on aging is charged with facilitating and supporting programs that address the needs of older adults and their caregivers. In Boulder County, we are so fortunate to have such great community partners to support this mission, such as the City of Boulder Older Adult Services, who we've already heard from today, and the fantastic services they provide for the residents of the City of Boulder. Without them and our partnerships with other municipalities, we could never possibly reach as many older adults and caregivers. Because of these partnerships, we essentially are filling in the gaps. There are so many services that our Area Agency on Aging is responsible for providing and supporting. Today, I'm here to speak to some of the core services that we provide. One of them is information referral through our resource call center, which Lisa takes care of. We also support short-term case management in the unincorporated areas of the county. And we operate our online resource directory, bouldercountyhelp.org, as well as other publications. So first to review is our centralized information referral call center. Our resource navigator offers information referral for public and private programs, provides awareness to individuals who may be eligible for certain public programs, and offers unbiased advice on programs. Support for streamlined eligibility for public programs, including Medicaid, SNAP, and LEAP. And if Lisa would share some information about how conversations typically go with our callers.
So we're open, obviously, to the public. Anybody who needs to call about services for people that are 60 plus or folks that are living with disabilities. And you don't need to know what you're calling about even. Sometimes it's a real brainstorm session of, just giving an overall view of what the county can provide, the AAA or Area Agency on Aging. And oftentimes it's an effort between the two to kind of come up with the right resources. So very welcoming, very, open to any questions that people have when they call in, because you don't always know what you need. So what those calls may look like are people that are in those areas of the demographic, or likely it's going to be a people that are in their caregiving sphere and are calling to find out what resources there are, or finding out if they have specific needs around it. Maybe transportation. It may be finding an in-home healthcare agency. And oftentimes we're going to be also referring them, of course, to our Age Well and senior centers because they're going to have the best resources in their municipality. So hopefully that gives a little overview.
Yeah, so people call for many reasons. Some looking for services for the first time. Often people are unsure how to voice their needs. And so our conversation style is to try and tease that out, which is why we call it navigation. It's not just resources, it's also that exploration of matching a service that meets perhaps an unvoiced need. Most of our referrals, in fact, all of them really, we organize in our online resource database. We vet all of these resources, and we take regular training on other Older Americans Act programs, such as nutrition, home delivered meals, in-home services, chore services. And we also refer to the other nonprofit or private businesses in the community that specifically offer services to older adults and caregivers. Our call center phone line is up on the screen, 303-441-1617. Yes. Chore services would be anything outside the home, such as shoveling snow, breaking leaves, collecting sticks. It could also include a handyman service, like installing grab bars for in-home safety. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the question was, oftentimes caregivers are having to make a quick decision about placing their loved one in a skilled nursing facility or rehab. And can the Area Agency on Aging provide counseling on navigating that process? Is that correct? Okay. I'd say going through our call center, the counseling that we can provide is about options available in the community. I don't know that we have the specific skill set to talk about placing a loved one in a facility. We do have staff that specialize in caregiving programs and services that might have an experience to share. And in that case, we would refer to another agency for that. As far as finding or identifying long-term care facilities, such as a skilled nursing or short-term rehab facility. We maintain a resource publication for our housing guide, which lists those places. So it's all organized in a way that you can find it easily. All those facilities are also located in our online directory, where if you did call and we're just looking for 5 places to maybe try that indicate that they accept short-term rehab, we could give you the names and contact information for those places. Do we find out how those places are rated? We don't maintain that. We do utilize the State Department of Public Health has a facility directory as well that does report their citations. I think a lot of times when people have questions about the quality of care or kind of an inside view of what a facility tends to operate like on a day-to-day, we refer to our long-term care ombudsman who act as advocates for residents in advocating for their quality of care, quality of life. Because they're in the facility so often, they can sometimes have that insider perspective and definitely have the contacts inside to, offer, I guess, their opinion, but not an official rating, but always helpful. Thank you. Yeah. Also on the state Colorado Public Health website, thank you, Lisa, you can compare facilities and sort. It's pretty well organized, easy to use, but you can sort by location or facility name, or even the payment that they accept. If it's Medicaid, Medicare, private pay, combination, it also lists their administrator contact information. Yeah. For skilled nursing or assisted living? Either one. As far as I know, the question was, are there any skilled nursing or assisted living facilities in Boulder County that accept Medicaid? And as far as I know, there's one assisted living that accepts Medicaid in Longmont. And for skilled nursing, there's 3 in Boulder and 3 in Longmont, for a total of 6 in the county. If somebody calls, would we walk them through this? We would for sure let them know which facilities accept Medicaid. We don't know the absolute availability, but we can direct them to the places to try first. Okay. Also, we on the table provided some pens and rack cards if you want our phone number on something you can take with you. Then to review our online resource directory, it's bouldercountyhelp.org, also on the pen, so please take one. It's an easy to navigate online resource directory. We host many of our internal publications on there as well, such as the housing guide, which I mentioned and we refer to a lot. And it's always a work in progress. We're always expanding it. The data that I guess we call it always under construction, and we're always looking for new agencies and services to add. We can't do it without our many great community partners and the countless callers that also inform us to other things that we're learning about all the time. And there's an easy way on the website to add in agencies, just basic information, and we'll review it. We vet all of these resources before adding them to the directory to make sure that we're providing an appropriate referral, and we're not sending you to some home care agency that is lost their business license for whatever reason. Some other links on the website, which we're going to demo. I'm not sure I want to show you live on the computer. So I have some screenshots of an example of how one might navigate. But we also list some other links there for local, state, and national contacts. Those might include some of the advocacy groups. Speaking of the Arthritis Foundation, ARP links and Brain Injury Alliance, things like that are listed there. And Parkinson's Association, thank you. Okay. So this is what the main page of our bouldercountyhelp.org website looks like. On the first page, you can find our contact information, which is, as I said before, the 303-441-1617, to speak with our resource navigator for those consultations on resources and services available in the community. You can also find more information about our programs and publications at the very bottom, where our right box where it says housing guide, that'll take you right to our updated housing information, which includes independent senior living throughout the county, assisted living, and skilled nursing homes. You'll also notice on the bottom of the page on the right side, you can request that Lisa call you back. So it could be a phone call. It could also be email, whatever your preference is. You can indicate that in our call form. If you do provide an email address, you'll get a confirmation email back from us saying, we received your call and we'll be calling you back in the next couple of days. So back to the main page to navigate the directory. There are nearly 1,000 resource listings at this point, and like I said, always expanding. All of our resource listings are assessed to be a legitimate service and available to provide services in Boulder County. The way to find these services, you can click, first you can search. If you know a specific name like City of Boulder Older Adult Services, you can type that in. When you hit search, there they are, their contact information as well. If you wanted to find, for example, assisted living facilities, you can also, I have more slides here. So if you click on their information, it expands to their full service detail. And I think you can scroll down. As you scroll down, you can see all of their phone numbers for each location and a link to their website, which Eden showed you earlier. Back to the search function, you can also search by zip code and a more general keyword. For example, if you wanted to find assisted living facilities in the 80304 zip code, you can type that in, hit search, and it'll show just those facilities located in within that 10-mile radius of 80304. This is just another screenshot of what those examples might look like. With any health care facility monitored by an ombudsman, that search result will always pop up in case you had any concerns about the rights of a resident in one of our Boulder County facilities. So for example, click on it, expands further detail. Okay, where am I in my notes here? Another way to view from the main page, you can click on or view categories here. And this is where all of the information is organized by the service type. For example, caregiving resources is here, housing options, and services at home, just as an example. So let's explore some of these categories. If you click on caregiver resources, it breaks it down even further into subcategories. And pretty familiar as you click on the subcategory, we'll say example, adult day program centers. It'll list all of them in the directory of who provides adult day. We click on, for example, a day place, similar format, listing all agency information and a link to their website if we have one. Another category we can look at, we'll do housing options. Break down even further in the subcategories, you can see assisted living. We searched for these earlier before, but if you wanted to, be a bit more direct, this is a listing of all of those facilities tagged as assisted living. Similar again in the details page, you can even get directions on how to get there, and a map is geolocated within the site. Final category we'll look at is services at home, which is kind of a general broad category. There's several subcategories within this. I want to point out that if you look at the right next to each category, there's a question mark that's encircled. So if you weren't familiar with what is non-medical home healthcare, you click on the question mark, it provides an explanation of the name of that category. So it can be kind of technical, but it's clear that this is non-medical really means it's not a nurse or practitioner that provides this hands-on help. And if you want to explore the non-medical home healthcare category, again, is a listing of all of those agencies that provide in-home services, non-skilled. Yeah, so for example, if you click on this agency, Personal Assistance Services of Colorado, it expands further to the details of the agency and how to contact them. The question mark just tells you a definition of the category. And as I mentioned before about other links, on the top of the page, there's a drop down, which I didn't circle, but I can show you here, where it says links. Takes you to this page where you can sort local, state, national. And I didn't have a screen after that. Any questions, additional questions? Thank you. Yes, we try to offer access in multiple formats. We have email as an option if that's what works best for people. We can tailor information to that. Mm-hmm. If somebody calls with concerns that they have been scammed, would we assist them or refer to the district attorneys? Well, I don't know that. I don't think there's ever an inappropriate time to call us. I think we would hear that concern. We're also, as a working with this population, a mandatory reporter. Sometimes people don't know that the scam that they may have been a victim of kind of puts them at risk. And if they're willing, we can offer to help get them connected with law enforcement and adult protection. But yeah, lots of calls more recently, even that we're referring to the DA a lot. You want to take
that? Just that I'm so glad you brought that up too, because I know we can all just sort of doze off with a lot of the tech stuff that goes on. And I just wanted to really encourage and emphasize that that's also what I'm doing behind the scenes. I'm looking at all these things on behalf of people. So people don't have to feel like they have to go through all this. It's just an option. If it were on a Saturday and you wanted something and you couldn't reach me, I mean, there is that. It is available to the public as well. So I just wanted to emphasize that.
Yes, we are mandatory reporters. Yes. I'm sorry. It depends on the level of detail that they're willing to share with us. Mandatory reporting means mandatory reporting. We have to have enough detail to make that report. So oftentimes the conversation is, letting people know, this situation sounds like it could be a legal matter. We inform people that we are mandatory reporters and can help make that report to get them connected with law enforcement. I guess all employees of the Area Agency on Aging, with the exception of our long-term care ombudsman, are mandatory reporters. So however we come across learning that a at-risk individual was a victim of a scam, or reports being abused or taken advantage of, we would make that report. Mandatory reporting, maybe Eden in your history brain can help me out. I believe it's in 2014, right, that the mandatory reporting law was put into place. And there is a list of job types or providers that are under the law considered a mandatory reporter. In the at-risk individual could be anyone 70 or older, or a person with an intellectual developmental disability over 18. The list of providers is sometimes surprising. It could be a bank teller. It could be someone in a government position like us. It could be a doctor, or your pet's doctor, a veterinarian. Just anyone who has regular contact with someone who could fall into one of those categories, they have an obligation to make that report. Anything to add on that? There is a legal repercussion for a person who is a mandatory reporter who fails to report within the reporting window. Yes. All right. Any questions about the call center, navigating the website, or services in general? No? Oh, or any other questions you'd like Eden or Emma to share about older adult services? Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Please, again, help yourself to some of the swag and items provided by all of us on the table. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. We will have a summary in our newsletter. There will be a recording available. We don't know when Fraser will get that to us, but we will have one. And this was a great presentation. It's another reason why Boulder is so great, and for us to that we live here. This was just really surprising to me. I want to tell you that the next thing that we're going to be doing as a caregiver group is June 18th. We have our yearly picnic. You'll look for that in our newsletter. Any other announcements that I need to make? Well, thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure bringing such knowledgeable people and opening up a whole new area of us to explore for the people that we know, love, and need us. Thank you very much.